Hi, welcome to the Scrap Hoarders Hop. This is the second weekend. This weekend we are doing tags and bookmarks. There are 3 grand prizes that are open internationally. For prize 1 is Bathing Beauties Digistamp and Papers by MHKDesigns. Prize number 2 is the Birds and Branches Digistamp and Papers by MHKDesigns. And prize 3 is the Doodle Florals Digistamp and Papers by MHKDesigns. MHKDesigns is the sponsor for the hop and has done all of the coordination. So thank you very much, Min, for all your hard work. The idea is that we would smash our scraps. Think about how many scraps you have, how many projects you've started, that you've had a little bit of extra stuff here and there and laid it aside. Because let's face it, these scraps can be real gems. There's no sense getting rid of them. Here I have a tag that's pre-made. I'm just going to go ahead and trim my pattern paper that I'm going to use on my tag. I picked a pattern paper that I had a nice size scrap of, obviously, and also that had a scripty font with words on the front. I did this because I was going for a nice background, but I didn't want flowers or geometric shapes or anything like that. And I like the words, and I've always liked this paper, and I thought good way to put it to use. Now the hole punch for the ribbon, I actually go ahead and try to remove that a little bit, only because sometimes that can be really stiff material, and I wanted to take a die, a circle die. I wanted to take a circle die and make my own hole punch. So you'll see me just try to pick this off a little bit, and I just end up picking a little bit of it off. I don't want to tear anything, so I don't, pick off too much. And then I look at the back of this and I think, well, that's nice, but it needs some kind of color for on the back of it. I'm sorry I'm off the camera here while I'm fussy cutting. All I'm doing is just trimming off the excess pattern paper from the front of the die. There I am pulling off the little fastener, and I have a die that I'm going to use that will cut a hole. And then I go ahead and I grab a piece of pink paper and use that for the background, and it turns out pretty nice. It matches the front pretty nice as well, which was good. That's what I was going for. What I'm doing is just using my Beacon 3-in-1 adhesive glue to adhere the papers to the to adhere the papers to the tag, because I want a glue that doesn't warp, and I want a liquid glue, and this is the best when it comes to not making your paper warp. I use other glues as well, but for this, where you're putting paper down on a piece of chipboard or cardboard, my favorite is the 3-in-1. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the smallest die of circle size circle die that I have, and it's small, and then I go ahead and punch the top of my tag. That way later I can add ribbon and I won't have to worry about it being too small. I have from my stash a die that has a Dreamcatcher embossed with sort of like a background, and then the word Dreamer, and 2 arrows on the top and the bottom. This is a die set that I have from my stash, so it's old, and I don't even know if you can get it anymore, but you can use any type of die that you might have. At first I thought about like a hot air balloon, so I mean there's no limit. You could stamp an image and put it on there if you don't have a die cutting machine. What I'm doing here is just the little dots that were inside that die that I punched out. I'm going to use some Nuvo drops and decorate them so that I can add them to the front of my card later. Not card, but bookmark tag. I had to grab a pin and try to get the glue from sticking inside of these, because if you don't use them much, that sometimes happens. And I don't use them a lot, but I thought I better try because I have these cute little dots. Maybe I can do one like a glossy accent and one glitter. Well, I didn't realize I grabbed the wrong color. This is white. It's not a clear gloss. Ah, wrong color. But I figured just keep going with it. Cover that little dot up. You just never know when you might need it. And then the next color is more like a purplish pink. I don't know the exact name of it. But it does match really well with the paper. For the products that I'm using, I will have down in the description box below, I will have a list of the products in case you're wondering what I'm using and what you might be able to find. These are just Nuvo crystal drops. And I have them on like a piece of acetate, the paper. That way, sorry, my camera was really shaking there. I guess I was turning things off. What I did was I went ahead and I had previously stenciled this with glitter paste. It's got a real pretty butterfly pattern. And here's my main piece. This is that dream catcher with shadow in the background. I kind of offset it a little bit. The dream catcher is embossed, which makes it look really nice. And the word dreamer, I'm just taking the foam dots off. But I put the butterflies in the background because it just looked too plain just to lay the dream catcher straight on top of the pattern paper. This gives it a little bit of interest when you look at it. All right, I put some real small foam squares on the sentiment, and I'm going to put it sideways. It's a pretty nice size sentiment, so that makes it easier to handle. I have a little flower here I'm going to glue down to the bottom of the tag. And then that little enamel dot, homemade, for lack of a better explanation of what it is, I'm going to put that down and a little sequins in the middle of the dream catcher, little purple one. There's also there's an arrow with this die set, and I die cut 2 in the dark purple color because my color scheme is purple and pink. And then Thermoweb makes a product called Sticky Dots. It's really nice for adhering small things like sentiments onto your cards. And here I'm taking the little arrow because it's very tiny and very intricate, and using the sticky paper, and I'll burnish it, then it'll come out like a sticker and I can stick it to the bookmark. I have a little Xyron machine that does the same thing, but it uses up a lot more material. The sticky dots, I think, give you more value because you can get a lot more. And that packet that I had is a packet of, I think, 10 sheets for like $4. It's a really good value. I also have the large 8 by 10 sheets, and that package is, I think, closer to $10. So it depends on what you're in the market for, but I would definitely recommend either one of those products. They're great, and I'll have them listed below in my description box. I'm almost done with this tag. I just need to put a ribbon on it, and it's done. Next, I'm going to make a smaller tag using some pattern paper that I have left behind with rainbow background. And I'm going to use an image that I have from a stamp from Brutus Monroe. It's the stamp of the month for this month, and I'm going to color that in. It's a little turtle with the baby turtle on top. I'm going to play some music while the second bookmark is being compiled. So just to summarize, I used Brutus Monroe Raven ink to stamp my image. This is a Brutus Monroe image. It's the stamp of the month. And my sentiment says, "Thank you for always being there." I used Catherine Polar ink to stamp the sentiment. And then I used Ohuhu alcohol markers to color the turtle. And I used just basically all the different green colors that come in this 80 pack of markers. Going to adhere this with my Beacon 3-in-1 glue. Going to trim my sentiment to make it smaller so that it fits above my little turtle, baby turtle, mama turtle, or baby turtle and daddy turtle. This is more like a bookmark. The first one was a tag, but this is more like a bookmark because the tag had dimension to it and the bookmark does not. The bookmark is very even from one end to the other. I just put some blue ribbon on it. And I have a stamp from Sweet and Sassy that has these really cool silhouette images. I'm going to use that to stamp the corner of this bookmark. I was just going to freehand stamp it, but then I changed my mind and decided I better put it in my Misty, which I'm glad that I did because I had to go in with a second stamping. I'm using Catherine Polar ink to stamp with, which is their black ink. I don't know all the names of her inks yet. I just got them recently from the Not Too Shabby shop. And once I do my, it'll be in the description box. You can just look below if you want to know what color of ink that I used. This is a really cute image and very popular stamp club with Brutus Monroe. Very inexpensive. There, I just opened that for the first time. I've never used this ink before. I had no idea it was going to be so messy. It's definitely stained my stamp, but that's all right. These are cattails, and they're basically a silhouette of a cattail. Cat tail. You know, the things that grow in the lake where you might find a turtle. Super cute, I think. Thanks a lot for watching. Make sure you tune in next week where we'll make cards, and make sure you comment below and let me know whether you're in the U.S. or international. I am going to be having a giveaway for U.S. residents, and you want to make sure that you comment on all of the people that are in this hop so that you have a chance to win one of the large prize packs. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day. Bye-bye.